your book can be used as a lure or a magical, say, Viagra for the soul and spirit, a tool that can help people step over the limiting barrier. I bet that every person who notices this provocative title or the cover of the book will be curious to find out what it's all about. How closely does your book relate to the topics of the original Kama-Sutra?
Welcome to the show, where we discuss time-tested and science-supported tools for better health, long life, and pleasures.
If you think that you are too old for love, romance, and sensual pleasure, and that the best time of your life is in the past, then stay with us to hear about an ancient stimulus that can help you bring that happiness back into your life. I'm Lilian Zeltzer, who also known as an aphrodisiac expert, because for over 3 decades, I researched, practiced, and hunted for natural stimulants for better health, longevity, and pleasure. In the process, I discovered that sexual energy is the driving force of our lives, responsible for our health, longevity, and, of course, level of pleasure we experience in our life. It is power that is fueled by many psychological, physiological, and environmental stimulants known as aphrodisiacs, which we discuss in every episode of this show in hope that you too can benefit from this knowledge. Because as Hippocrates said in the 4th century BC, if you are not your own doctor, you are a fool. Our guest today is amazing, talented person, Zack Rogow, a poet, an author, playwright, editor, and literary translator of more than 20 books and plays. His new book of poems with peculiar title, Kama-Sutra for Senior Citizens and Other Poems on Aging, is a true aphrodisiac.
Mhm.
Good to have you on the show, Zack.
Lillian, thank you so much for connecting me to your show because it seems like a natural for us to be talking together.
Thank you for joining me. We are going to start with the words of Edward Abbey, who famously said, "One word is worth 1,000 pictures." It is the right word.
Mhm.
Well, since ancient times, we know that people have known that words have the power to influence thoughts, actions, emotions, memories, feelings, especially those that are masterly placed on a thread of poetic rhythm like precious pearls. How's that?
I like the
Till
metaphor. That's a poem right there.
Well, talent is always talent. Until now, timeless poems of King Solomon, Homer, Petrarch, Lord Byron, Shakespeare. You can continue uh, uh, with many, many other names uh, who wrote poems that awaken carnal desire even now.
Mhm.
But what about the prose? Does it have the same power? Well, in your professional experience and your opinion as a literary, say, specialist or expert, which category is more potent as aphrodisiac, poetry or prose, and why?
Well, that's a good question. I would say poetry. Of course, I'm biased because I'm a poet, but I do think that when you want to say something very intimate to another person, poetry is made for that. It is a medium in which you can speak person to person so directly and to the heart of another person. And you can summon that closeness that is so important in people connecting sensually and emotionally.
Absolutely. And the way our brain, I'm not a neuroscientist, but everyone can say that it's easier to remember a poem a little verse and apply it in life when there's need for it, than a prose, than a citate from a book. So poetry
Poetry.
is made in heaven. It is an aphrodisiac.
I believe that's true. I think that poetry speaks directly to the heart and through the heart to the body. And there are so many poems that when people read them aloud together or from one person to another, are a way to bring people together in a way that nothing else can. And it's no accident that lovers often share poems as the way they would share secrets. It's a kind of unveiling of yourself and of your heart and of your whole being in a way when you share a poem with someone.
Oh, absolutely. It's like sharing a glass of wine with someone
Mhm.
that you love or desire.
Mhm.
Um, well, through centuries of observations and experimentations, people of every culture on our planet recognized that sexual energy is the essence of life, which controls our overall health, longevity, and happiness and success, money, and so on. So they tried to harness this energy with different types of aphrodisiacs, certain foods, visual art, drinks, amulets, potions, rituals, witchcraft, spells, and of course, provocative love verses.
Yes.
Why poetry can be considered as an aphrodisiac? And
Well,
and
go ahead.
if you could kindly give us a taste of that aphrodisiac by reading a verse from your beautiful book.
With pleasure, Lillian. And I think poetry can be considered an aphrodisiac because it is physically stimulating when it's presented by someone to another person who wants to be physically close to them. I'll give you an example from my new book, which is the Kama-Sutra for Senior Citizens and Other Poems on Aging, which you mentioned. And I found myself single as a senior citizen, which I never expected to happen. And so I was dating at an age I never expected to date. And I wrote this poem to someone I was dating who I wanted to get closer to. And it's called Bird in Flight. The reason it's called Bird is that it's about, first, it starts out being about the famous jazz saxophonist, Charlie Parker, whose nickname was Bird because of the way he played. And his most famous album is called Charlie Parker with Strings. But it becomes a love poem. I understand now why Charlie Parker took one look at the string orchestra assembled to record behind him, the curvaceous violins, the Steinway grand, shiny as a ball gown, and the harp strings, shimmering with anticipation. I can understand why he took one glance at his lifelong dream of that ensemble and walked right out the door. When they finally found Bird 10 days later and asked him why, he said, "It was so beautiful." Yes, I understand now that I'm at last alone with you in this city with its lantern skyscrapers, each of us having spent years learning how to love and how not to love. So close to you now, I can understand Charlie Parker's flight because this is so beautiful that I want to rush out the door and run where no one can find me. But I won't because, bless his soul, Charlie Parker already did that for all of us.
It is so deep. It is uh, like an ocean of emotions where there are only few words and a lot of thought and emotions in it. It's like concentrate. It's like essence of feelings. I love it. I
Thank you so
really
much,
do.
Lillian.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I wish the woman I wrote this for had loved it that much.
Oh, really?
She liked the poem. I don't think she liked me as much as the poem. But,
Yeah, it
but I
can
did
be,
I did I did write it because I at the time that I wrote it, I so wanted to be close to this one person.
even if she didn't appreciate it, it was the ultimate test for compatibility. If that woman didn't appreciate your feelings, the depth of it, the amazing combination of experience that you put through the prism of your feelings, inner love, then there is nothing to regret. Isn't it
No,
so?
I don't. I don't regret it. I mean, why regret having deep feelings, having sensual feelings for someone? That's such a gift in a way. Sometimes they're not reciprocated. That's life, sometimes they are, and that's beautiful.
Absolutely. By the way, I love the cover of your book. Can you
Oh,
show
thank you.
us
I'm gonna
a
tell the
bit
publisher.
closer so we can see
Let
what
me
it
show it
looks
again.
like? It's amazing, very eye-catching and down to point. Beautiful design.
The publisher himself actually designed this book. He's a very multi-talented person. The Kama-Sutra for Senior Citizens is published in the United Kingdom by Valley Press. So if you're in the United Kingdom, you can order it directly from them.
Oh,
If
brilliant.
you're in the United States, you could get it from Amazon or bookshop.org. In Australia, it's available from Booktopia, I believe, and someplace called Dymook.
Yeah, but we all know Amazon, and a lot of people do use Amazon. So under this video, we'll place a link as well so people can obtain a copy. But can I ask you something,
Wait,
Zach? We did hear this beautiful verse, and there are many other ones. How closely does your book relate to the topics of the original Kama Sutra? And
oh,
what is it designed to inspire? Um, well, I have here erotic literature of ancient India book
mm,
with some amazing pictures and topics. It's basically ancient Indian sex and pleasure manual written in 3rd century for
mm.
inexperienced lovers about the art of love, seduction, intimacy, and relationships. So, how closely does your book relate to the topics of this book?
Well, it does relate to it because there's a poem in the book called the Kama Sutra for Senior Citizens. And when I started dating as a senior, it occurred to me to reread the Kama Sutra, which I hadn't read since I was a very naive 20-year-old. And I found it very different reading it as a senior.
Well, in the 12th century in southern France, there were troubadours, some
Oh, yeah.
poets, musicians, talented people who invented the concept of fin amour, refined
Courtly
or
love.
courtly love,
Yeah. Hmm.
which they used to elevate romantic love into a noble platonic pursuit,
Hmm.
which charged their and their subject's sexual energy.
Hmm.
Zach, now I'll ask you something that you can say yes or no to. Would you
Please.
like to become a troubadour for our audience who would occasionally indulge our audience with a verse of your delicious aphrodisiac?
Thank you, I would, yes. I've always admired the troubadours. One thing I love about them is that they sang their poetry, which gave it even more music and brought out the music in the beautiful Provençal language.
Well, for many seniors, dating, falling in love, or simply expressing sensuality can be challenging situation due to their upbringing or maybe life experience or health or loss of part of a memory or something like that. And that is where your book can be used as a lure or a magical, say, Viagra for the soul and spirit, a
Mm,
tool that can help people step over the limiting barrier. Just
That
imagine.
is such a beautiful way to describe what I was trying to do in this book. I would love to have that written out, yeah.
But honestly, just imagine a silver-haired person sitting on a bench in a park or in the salon of a cruise ship, reading
Mhm.
your book or just simply holding it. I bet that every person who notices this provocative title or the cover of the book will be open to start conversation, will be curious to find out what it's all about. Do you
Mhm.
see your book as a tool able to elevate emotions or awaken sensual memories? What made you, well, you already said what made you write it, but what
Yeah.
made you put it all together and actually publish it for others?
Well, I wanted to tell the story of what it was like to be single and dating as a senior. That was part of it. And it's a story with a happy ending because I do finally meet someone at the end of the book, and it's a woman who's also older and has grandchildren, and the grandchildren are featured in the book. So I wanted to write a book that there are lots of poems about young love, which is beautiful, of course. But I didn't think there were so many poems about older people and their sensuality. So I wanted to write about that topic, even though it's a little bit verboten, because, well, just for that reason, in a way, because I felt like it's something that should be more open, more talked about, and more celebrated.
I absolutely adore your book. And I can, well, basically share with you a family, not a secret, but family fact that my father was born from his father, who was born from his father that was 97 at the time
Oh,
when he was born. And after
what?
him, there were three more children. It was his
Mhm.
second wife, and that was at the turn of last century. So yes, our
You have good genes.
sexuality doesn't disappear.
Yes, that's a wonderful story. I
Uh,
have a poem in this book called Confessions of Methuselah, which is Methuselah looking back on his 600 years and talking about what it was like to live for many centuries. So it makes me think of that poem as well.
Zach, you are amazing person. I would love to talk to you for eternity.
Thank you
Um,
so much. That's a
I
lovely
would
compliment.
never get bored. I'm sure of that. Well, thank you for this enjoyable conversation and a little taste of your wonderful aphrodisiac. Based on my personal feelings, this book is worth its weight in gold.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It would make an unforgettable present for anyone at any age. Because even if it's a young person who received the book, might not understand now, but will hold on to it because of its cover and its provocative title, and later would open it and enjoy it and understand the depths of it. Well, like most of our viewers, I love learning about natural stimulants that can help us replenish our sexual energy, the barometer of our health, longevity, and pleasure. And I encourage everyone to get a copy of Zack's The Kama-Sutra for Senior Citizens and Other Poems on Aging. So the link is located below this video and on our website, aphrodisiacsexpert.com. So please don't forget to watch the next episode about another legendary aphrodisiac that can lead you to better health, long life, and pleasures.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss any of the new episodes. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, please put them below the video. I do read them. If you are looking for a good, reliable source of specific ingredients, experts, services, or products, click on the resources link under this video. To health, long life, and pleasures.
Your book can be used as a lure or a magical, say, Viagra for the soul and spirit, a
Mm.
tool that can help people step over the limiting barrier. I bet that every person who notices this provocative title or the cover of the book will be curious to find out what it's all about. How closely does your book relate to the topics of the original Kama-Sutra?
when you want to say something very intimate to another person. Poetry is made for that. It is a medium in which you can speak person to person so directly and to the heart of another person, and you can summon that closeness that is so important in people connecting sensually and emotionally.